Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that might sound a little like a keto myth. We're talking about bread.
Bread.
You heard that right. Bread.
Milk on keto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you're thinking, wait a minute, bread on keto. Isn't that like a total carb fest? Doesn't that completely go against everything keto stands for?
You're not alone. That's a common thought. I mean, bread is pretty much the definition of
It's the
carbs.
first thing that comes to mind when you think of like cutting carbs, right?
Right. Goodbye bread, goodbye pasta, goodbye rice. Hello, fat and protein.
Exactly. But the thing is, the world of keto baking, well, it's gotten pretty clever these days, and you might be surprised at what's actually possible.
Oh yeah, there's been a real revolution in keto baking.
The bread revolution.
Exactly. And it's all about finding ways to enjoy those classic foods without all the carbs that traditionally come with them.
Okay, so before we get into the how, let's just do a super quick recap on why regular bread is a no-go on keto.
Okay, so the key to keto is keeping your carb intake really low, right? Like super low. So low that your body's like, all right, guess I gotta start burning fat for fuel now.
Right, get into that fat-burning mode, ketosis.
Ketosis, exactly. And that's where traditional bread comes in and throws a wrench in the whole thing. Think of it like this,
Like throwing a what?
like throwing a wrench in your body's fat-burning engine.
Ah, I gotcha. Okay.
So white bread, wheat bread, all those usual suspects, they're loaded with carbs. And those carbs, they cause your blood sugar to spike. And when your blood sugar spikes, your body releases insulin.
Okay, and insulin is not our friend when it comes to ketosis, right?
Not really, no. Insulin's job is to help your body use glucose for energy. And when there's a lot of glucose around, well, your body's less inclined to burn fat. It's like, hey, we got all this easy energy here. Why bother with the fat stores?
So the bread basically kicks you out of ketosis.
Pretty much. It disrupts that whole fat burning process you've worked so hard to achieve.
Okay, so regular bread, a big no-no. But keto bread, that's where things get interesting. So how do they do it? How do you make bread without the carbs?
Well, it all comes down to the ingredients. It's about swapping out those high-carb wheat flours for alternatives that are naturally lower in carbs.
What kind of alternatives are we talking about?
So the most common ones you'll see are almond flour and coconut flour. You also see things like flaxseed meal or psyllium husk sometimes.
Okay, so these flours are low carb because they're made from nuts and seeds, not grains. Got it. But I'm curious, do they like actually bake up like regular flour? Do they have a similar texture?
That's a good question. They definitely have their own unique characteristics. Almond flour, for example, tends to be a bit more dense and moist. Coconut flour is super absorbent, so you need to use less of it.
Interesting. So it's not just a simple one-to-one swap. You have to like adjust the recipe.
Exactly. You can't just take a regular bread recipe and swap out the flour. You need to use recipes that are specifically designed for those alternative flours.
Got it. So it's a bit more involved, but it sounds like it's worth it if it means you can still have bread on keto. But does it like actually work? Does it really not spike your blood sugar?
That's the amazing thing. These alternative flours have a much, much lower impact on blood sugar compared to wheat flour. They don't get digested as quickly, so you don't get that rapid insulin spike that throws your body out of ketosis.
So you're telling me I can have my keto cake and eat it too?
Exactly. It's not exactly cake, but you get the idea.
Okay, so let's talk about what you can eat on keto when it comes to bread. What are we talking about here?
The possibilities are pretty endless, honestly. Grilled cheese, totally doable. Avocado toast, you got it. French toast.
Yes,
Wait,
French toast.
even pizza.
Hold on. I'm going to need you to elaborate on that pizza situation.
Keto-friendly crusts, my friend. You can find pre-made ones or whip up your own using almond flour or coconut flour.
Mind blown. Okay, I'm seeing the appeal here. So not only can you have bread on keto, but you can have a pretty darn good variety of bread-based foods.
Exactly. And that's a huge part of why keto bread can be such a game changer for people.
Yeah.
It helps address one of the biggest challenges with diets in general,
Which is?
feeling deprived. A lot of diets fail because people feel restricted, they miss their favorite foods, they start to crave those things they're not allowed to have.
Oh yeah, you start to obsess over it. It's all you can think about.
Exactly. It's not sustainable in the long run. But with keto bread, you don't have to completely give up those comforting, familiar foods. You can still enjoy a sandwich, a slice of toast, even pizza, without completely derailing your progress.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so keto bread seems like a win-win. It keeps you in ketosis, it satisfies those cravings, and it makes the diet feel way more sustainable. But let's get real for a second. Are we sacrificing some nutritional value here? Are there any drawbacks to relying on these alternative flours compared to, like, whole grains?
Okay, that's a great question, and it's important to be aware of the whole picture, right? So, yeah, almond flour and coconut flour, they do bring a lot to the table. They're good sources of healthy fats. They've got fiber. They even have certain vitamins and minerals. But it's true that they might not be as nutrient dense as some whole grains.
Okay, so something to keep in mind. Not a deal breaker, but something to consider.
Definitely.
So I imagine not all keto bread is created equal. What should people be looking out for when they're choosing a good keto bread?
You got to be a savvy label reader, that's for sure. You can't just grab any bread that says keto on it.
Right, because marketing can be misleading.
Exactly. So, first and foremost, you want to look for low net carbs.
High net carbs. Remind me what that means again.
Sure. So, net carbs basically means you're subtracting the fiber from the total carbohydrates.
Because fiber doesn't impact your blood sugar in the same way.
Right. Fiber doesn't get digested in the same way as other carbs, so it doesn't have the same impact on your blood sugar levels.
Got it. So lower net carbs, better for ketosis.
Exactly. Ideally, aim for under 3 grams of net carbs per serving. That's a good rule of thumb.
Under 3 grams. Okay. What else should we be looking for?
Ingredients. Always check the ingredient list.
What should we be looking for there? Or maybe more importantly, what should we be avoiding?
Look for natural ingredients. You want to steer clear of anything that's got artificial preservatives, added sugars, or a bunch of ingredients you can't even pronounce.
Sense. Keep it clean.
Yep. And you also want to make sure the bread has a good balance of fats and protein.
Why is that important?
Because fat and protein help you feel full and satisfied. They help stabilize your blood sugar levels, which is key for staying in ketosis. Plus, they provide sustained energy, which is always a good thing.
Okay, so it's not just about finding any bread labeled keto. It's about finding one that really aligns with your health goals.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to wrap up, keto bread. It's a thing. It's real. And it can be a fantastic tool for making the keto diet more enjoyable and, most importantly, more sustainable. But as with anything, knowledge is power. Read those labels, understand the ingredients, and choose wisely.
You're in the driver's seat.
Exactly. Now, here's something to ponder, something we didn't really get into today. We talked about the usual suspects, like sandwiches and toast. But what about getting creative?
Oh, I love that.
Could you use keto breadcrumbs for chicken parmesan? Or what about keto bread pudding? Think outside the bread box.
Yeah, you're talking.
There's a whole world of keto-friendly culinary adventures just waiting to be discovered. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.